Pleased to be joined now by Bills defensive tackle DaQuan Jones, joining us here in studio. And player interview appearances on One Bills Live are presented by Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the Buffalo Bills. How's this week gone for you?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good. I thought we had two really good days, and today was kind of like that touch-up practice. And I feel really confident going into this week. And, I'm just ready to go out there and play and hit some other people.
Yeah, because it was interesting. Dion, earlier this week, he said last week's stretch of practices were some of the hardest ones he's had in a Bills uniform.
Yeah.
Which kind of made my ears perk up a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe the coaches felt like, you know what, the ones didn't get a ton of time in the preseason. Let's maybe tune up this week of practice going into the long Labor Day weekend where they'll have a couple of days off. Were you guys doing some pretty intense hitting last week?
Yeah, it was tough. I think it was kind of the group consensus that we were all kind of beat after that week, and added on the run after practice, kind of like bringing the Campbell's back. Like those were 3 true dog days, and we felt it. But I think it's what we needed, and I felt great coming back this week, and like I said before, I'm just ready to go. But yeah, those days were tough.
Does that give you some confidence? Because none of you guys got to play a lot during the preseason. It's been like 8 or 9 months since you last got into a live game for any stretch for more than just a handful of plays where you knew you're going to have to start it, rotate in, and finish it. What kind of thought process you have about going in and saying, okay, here we go, another full game when you haven't done it for so long?
Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. I think you still are getting in shape the first couple weeks of the season. Just because no matter what in practice you get maximum 5 plays, 4 plays, and you get a long break in between. So to get that repetition and go out there and getting 5 to 6 plays and off the field and back on there, and working way up to that 30 play or how many you get, and kind of getting that condition. It's gonna take a couple of weeks, but that's what being a pro and doing extra cardio in the morning or even post practice will help you along the way.
Yeah.
Terrel Bernard got named captain on the defensive side of the ball. Only 2 captains, him and Josh. He's a third-year player. You're an 11-year vet. How does a guy like Terrel Bernard command respect from somebody of your stature with your time in the league, knowing he's only in his 3rd year and 2nd year as a starter?
I think just his work ethic. He comes in the building. He's a very serious guy. Likes to joke around, but he's very serious all day. And he just commands the huddle. He go out there, and I think we all respect him. And just to see what he did his first 2 years here, and especially last year, I think that we all just respect who he is and how he carries himself. And when he talks, we listen. And it's just I can't say anything bad about the guy. He really goes out there every day in practice, does his job, and he busts his tail. And that's someone who you want leading your defense.
Yeah.
You got out of the gate really well last year, and then week 5 you tore your pec, and you got it fixed, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it fixed.
Give us a little idea how that went. I saw you a couple of weeks after that, and I was like, oh man, it's too bad. And you said, no, I'm gonna be back.
Yeah.
And you did, indeed, you did. And tell me the difference between the end of last year when you got back off the surgery and now coming in this year fresh.
Yeah, coming back to the last couple games, it was still sore. I didn't have, all my strength left, in my arm. But now I feel good, fine. I'm punching, and, I'm not tabling up or anything, no restraints or anything like that. I don't feel, weak at point of attack or even going to my right side. So I feel really good and confident in that.
Yeah.
And, I just feel like myself, and I'm just ready to go back out there and kind of just stack on what I was building here over the last 2 years and pick up where I left off.
Looks like the draft class this year is going to have an opportunity to maybe contribute more than previous draft classes just because of the roster turnover you guys experienced this offseason. A little bit of an influx of youth. It's a younger team. DeWayne Carter, what have been your observations of him? Because it looks like he's going to be part of your 8-man rotation on game day. What have been your observations of him and how he's come along?
Yeah, I think he's a smart kid. I think he picks up the defense well, a terminology, what we want to do, and I think he's going to be a huge asset for us. And we all know how the first couple of games are. He's going to have those moments, those rookie moments, and just going to be there and to continue to encourage him and making sure that he doesn't get discouraged from having a couple bad snaps here and there.
Yeah.
It's football. You can't play everything perfectly. But I think he'd be a huge asset for us, and I'm excited to go out there and kind of line up with him and see what he can do.
So 2 years ago, was Leslie Frazier. Last year's McDermott. Last year you were top 5 in sacks and sacks percentage as defensive line.
And takeaways,
and
too.
takeaways. And now Bob Babich is calling the defenses and has been for the preseason. What are your thoughts on the difference? You've seen a lot of guys. Yeah. What are your thoughts on how that subtly changes things? What's your biggest, as a player, how are you going to know or recognize there's a different guy calling the plays this year?
Really, I think it all comes from Bobby's energy. I think that's the biggest takeaway from everything. You know,
I know exactly what
in
you're
the
talking
meeting
about.
when we started, like he's on go, and you know, he commands the room, and you know, I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's easy to talk to. We talk about schemes all the time. I always try to pick his brain. Like, why would you call that? Why would you do that? And he's just someone who's always just trying to educate and teach people. And you know, I think he's, you know, very smart when it comes to football, and I think he's gonna put us in a great position, you know, this year. And I'm excited to kind of play under that.
Let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a team that, you know, was 4-13 last year. Last year is last year. One thing that they've always done well, though, the last couple of years is run the football.
Yeah.
You know, James Conner's a load. I don't have to tell you that. My question to you is, you know, you can study all the film you want, but when you have a cross-conference opponent that you don't see a lot, do you try to mine for other information? Like, for example, Damar Hamlin was his teammate at Pitt. I know it was a few years ago, but do you tap into him a little bit and say, hey, Damar, what's this kid's makeup? What's he like? Trey Benson, too. Keon played with him at Florida State. Like, do you pump him for information? I'm just kind of curious how deep the level of intel goes when you're getting ready for an opponent that you don't see that often.
Yeah, I know some guys do. For my personal self, I do not. I think it just comes down to, at the end of the day, having that mindset that it's a different opponent. We don't play them a lot, but they have to block me and my skill set and what I bring to the table.
Okay.
So I go into the game where no matter what they do, pulls, double teams, whatever, they have to handle me. So that's my mindset. So you know, I'll look and study. I'll know what they like to do, what's their top, you know, plays, not what formations, and then after that, it's like, okay, now stop us from making a play and encouraging, you know, the D line and tipping them on, you know, what do I see and what's coming, and taking it from there.
Okay.
Yep. Marcus West was the assistant defensive line coach last year. Now he's the full assistant guy.
Yep.
He commands he's got the remote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as an 11-year vet, sometimes there's an interesting dynamic between a young or a new position coach when he comes in the room.
Sure.
Sometimes he'll lean on guys like you and say, and you get treated with, you know, not an undue, but a higher level of respect and deference because he understands you've probably been in this defense longer than he has. You played at a level. How's that relationship, and how have you seen Marcus West take over your room on the D-line? You got a lot of new guys in there.
Yeah. You know, for the guys returning, I think we all really appreciated how Marcus attacked the coaching aspect of it. He helped a lot of us really work on our smaller techniques. I know for me, you know, pre-practice, even before the games, I'm out there an hour early. I'm working with him on technique stuff that I want to work on before practice, before the game. And, you know, that doesn't go unnoticed, and I feel like that's really helped improve my game here. And he really likes to teach what he sees and try to get us all on the same page. And at the same time, he also relies on me and Vaughn to break down some type of, you know, how do I play a certain block versus what he's teaching. And so just that knowing what's coming versus that, yeah, I played it and I experienced it is a little different, and he allows us to be those type of leaders in the room, which goes a long way.
So you can bend it a little bit. It's not like this. It's my way or the highway. He'll bend a little bit if there's something that works for you, and is more effective on the field. Why wouldn't you go with what works for the player?
Yeah. And I'm saying all within the framework of the defense. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go outside.
No.
Yeah, like whatever it is, but like.
But you know what works for you.
Yeah. Like what works for you, or he'll like, you know, Vaughn, like, what do you see, and maybe he can, you know, explain it in a way where the guys will kind of pick it up. You know what I mean? Right. Just that missing, you know, language barrier. I guess.
What about Vaughn? Because a lot of fans want to know, is the quick twitch back? Is he back to being old Vaughn? You know, quick twitch off the ball, causing problems. What has been your view of him in the practice setting?
Yeah, you know, like I said during training camp, I think Vaughn's back, and I'm not trying to put no type of pressure on him at all. But a dude who has 123 career sacks, who's healthy, who's built up all his confidence over the offseason. I think we're going to see the Von Miller that we've, you know, signed the first year here, and I think we're going to be in great hands. I really do. I have no issues, no worries at all.
Okay.
What is the conversation? What's it been like about the characterization of the Cardinals coming in this weekend? Give us a little synopsis of what you guys are expecting from them.
I mean, I think they're a great football team. I think offensively, they do a lot of things well. I think the O-line works well together. They have a couple new pieces in there, but I think for the most part, they work very well. And Kyler Murray, he gets it going, and that dual threat to be able to throw the ball out of any type of position and be able to kind of gas you in the run game too. It's tough to stop, and we got to make sure come Sunday that we are on our P's and Q's and make sure we're doing our job, and especially up front, being our gaps and being sound, and when it comes to third down and pass rush, to making sure that we have great lane integrity and contain them.
Right.
All right, it's time now for this week's Timbits Timeout, presented by, of course, Tim Hortons, where we solicit the fans to ask Bills players a unique question. And this week's question comes from Connor, who asks, what is your favorite moment in a Bills uniform?
Ooh. Favorite moment? I would say off the top of my head, it would be, when DeMar got hurt and we came back and we played New England.
Oh, okay.
We turned that kickoff.
Well, yeah.
I think that was I got goosebumps all through my body, and it was just a high that it's hard to explain.
It seemed supernatural.
Yeah, to be able to do that, and it was crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's probably one of my best moments for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans might agree with you, especially ones that were in the stadium that day. I mean, we're looking at the sideline, coaches crying. I was like, holy cow, what is going on?
Yeah.
It was bananas. Mm-hmm. That's a good pick. That's a good answer to that question. Listen, DaQuan, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Good luck on Sunday.
Stay in one piece.
Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Get a dub, and we'll see you down the line here. Appreciate
Alrighty.
the time as always. That's DaQuan Jones joining us here in studio.